us, former Liberian Vice President and former Senators of Bong County, Madam Joe Howard-Taylor. We'd like to say welcome to our microphone this morning.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here this morning. It's a privilege to be back in Bong County.
How is life with you in the opposition life in Liberia?
Well, I'm a regular person, and being in and out of government doesn't diminish the work that people have to do for their citizens. So I'm privileged to still be involved in the things happening across Bong County, across the nation. I will continue to give my input. Like I said, I'm not retired. I might not be in that office, but I continue to provide positive benefits. So those who I can continue to support.
Talk to us about this statement made by Senator Prince Campbell Moy when he interacted with citizens, especially at the Bong County intellectual centers in Banga, regarding that he don't regret his decision to remove you as a vice president from the vice presidency positions in Bong County.
For me, in a scheme of life and politics, people have their opinions, and you must respect it. And Senator Moy is entitled to his opinion that he gave at the Attorney Center. However, not just as politicians, as national leaders, we must speak the facts. I think the facts will speak louder than an opinion. And the reason why I'm taking time this morning to respond to the opinion of Senator Moy is that opinions should not rewrite the historical record. It means somebody can believe anything particular about a particular thing, but what is the reality on the ground? And I will just take a few of those facts. The one that is critical to me is the fact that in 2017, 2018, Bong County made a decision, and I think we gave the highest votes to President We are to enable him to win the elections as president. After we won those elections, Bong County attained an unprecedented national prominence. And let me explain what I mean. For the first time in the history of Bong County, we had a vice president elected, and we had a deputy speaker of the House of Representatives. For the first time in 100 and something years, Bong County held those two positions. This was a rare occurrence because normally when people win elections, they want their own partisans or those who help them win to take part in those different elections, like the speaker, deputy speaker, so that they will have more influence in government. I want to thank President Weah for looking beyond me and seeing Bong County at the time and saying, well, let's make Senator Moy deputy speaker, I believe, between Senator Moy, Representative Moy at the time, and the Vice President Taylor. Bong County will get a little bit more because the complaint in Bong County is that we are the largest tribe, we are the least catered to. Election after election, we keep hearing the same story. So he believed that he would support this arrangement that would bring first me as elected vice president, and then Honorable Moy as deputy speaker. If you look at that scenario, you know that Bong County had a very serious influence in government. That's fact number one. Fact number two is that Bong County benefited significantly from development interventions during the Weah-led administration. When you listen to Senator Moy's presentation over the weekend, he said Bong County was marginalized, Tuatila were not treated fairly, and so they decided that it was better to have that government removed. But my question to those who are listening, was it about Tuatila or was it about Bong County? I think the higher value is what did Bong County get? And it's difficult to name all of the things, so I will name just a few that I believe Bong County benefited as a result of that placement that Bong County had the vice president, and Bong County had a deputy speaker. When we won those elections and after inauguration, the first state president we had took was here in Banga City. He called one morning and he said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in Banga." He said, "I will come to Banga because I've heard you complain many times. People are forgetting how the Banga brush you were looking. You know, one thing about human being, once something is fixed, then people forget the story." He stood right there. He informed the public works minister at the time to make sure that Bong County brush was fixed. Today, people can drive on it. It makes the city look beautiful. We also completed the work of the Banga Batala corridor of the Lofa County road. Today, that road is available and being used. When we left Banga Broad Street, I begged him, I said, "Chief, let's go to Bong Technical College." Because the reason why the Bong Technical College was created was to ensure that our children would be able to go to school without having to pay the high fees that Cottington would pay. The president stood right there, informed the Minister of Finance was on the trip to make whatever was available so that the Bong Technical College would be upgraded, their programs would be on track. And it was in Bong County Technical College when the president said, people have complained that it was difficult for people to go to school. He made the announcement that every public university will be for free. There will be no tuition. It was here in Bong County that was done. Because of that, all the other counties benefited. There were major work done here. The beautiful new school building that was dedicated and opened the other day was one of the projects. There were 5 counties giving those school projects. And the fact of the matter was that Bong County benefited from that school. It's now open. The Benin Quality Health Center, all kinds of other things were done. People were put on the payroll. Doctors' salaries were increased. Employment opportunities, scholarship opportunities were made available. And most importantly, Jungle Water was given a contract to bring electricity to Bong County, that people could now have lights. We completed the new Banga market, and we did a lot. Subsidies were given across the country for women to get funding for microcredit. People were sent to school. We even went so far, even though Phoebe Hospital is a private facility, government paid more than 90% of the bills coming from Phoebe. In their whole budget, government paid 90%, only 10% they had to pay. We increased facilities for CB Tomba, and a lot. So for Honorable Moe to say that Bong County did not benefit, I think it's a wrong assertion when you look at actually the things that were done here. I believe Bong County played a very pivotal role in the development agenda of our country. But more beyond that, by making sure that the CDC was removed from power, Bong County lost an opportunity. And I would like to remove the conversation from Joao Taylor. I was just one individual. When you look at all of the other things that were done, you can't say that we're disenfranchised. Where Senator Moe and I differ is in the interpretation of the unprecedented opportunity that Bong County held in the last 6 years. My view is that politics was allowed to take center stage over the collective interest of our people. Imagine what could have been achieved if the vice president and the deputy speaker had worked together to make sure more would have come to the county. And we won't be talking the story we're talking about today. But everything became political. And I'm happy that he admitted that they worked very hard to remove us from power. They didn't remove us from power because we're not working. It was politicking, talking about a lot of things. But we were being held responsible for our record. After 3 years in power, I haven't seen any significant work being done in Bong County. Most of what you see being dedicated is work that was started during the George Weah tenure. Yeah, maybe they have jobs that they're giving, but we had a lot of young people also in government at different levels. People seem to have forgotten that the Ministry of Agriculture was given to Bong County. Remember the story? After the minister got into the Ministry of Agriculture, he decided that he would take all of the projects that belonged to the county and put it in his private cesspress, I think was the name of the organization. And that's how he was removed. So it wasn't that Bong County didn't have opportunities. When it comes to Bong County, I believe all of us must put Bong County first. There's a saying here in Bong County that when you are in a situation and you are naked, you will not take your hand from in front of yourself, go put it in front of your friend. What was done by Senator Moy and others, they took their hand from themselves as being naked and put one in Lofa and put the other hand in Nimba County, leaving Bong County empty and bare. So for me, I didn't want the statement being made to remain in the ears of the people of Bong County because there was a lot done here on our watch.
Madam Taylor, I'm pleased to ask you this question. Now Senator Moy has spoken about a decision to unseat you as...
to unseat the people of Bong County.
From the vice presidency, which was an opportunity to ascend into the presidency. Do we see a political retaliation from Madam Taylor?
I just want to clear the air that that's his opinion, but it's not the fact. The fact is that Bong County benefited. What he should be telling the people of Bong County is that as Deputy Speaker, what are the things you join me to do to create a better opportunity for the people of Bong County?
Are you paying back now ahead of 2029?
It's not about paying back, but we have to clear, when somebody puts something in the mainstream media, it's important to clarify it today. I won't wait for 2029 to do this clarity. Because people know exactly what happened here. That, of course, we're not in the same political party. But I always say when I come to the media, I wish I had come from Nimba. Because the Nimba County people will always put themselves first. And if there are any issues, they will call, in their inner circle, they will discuss it, they'll resolve it. But when they stand together as one. Bong County has not yet been able to do that. And for the statement that Senator Moy made, I think it just exposed his own political strategy. Because instead of thinking about what was important to Bong County, how we could work. Because I don't think any other president would have given vice presidency and deputy speakership to one county. So it went beyond me as an individual. And I think his admission that they actually undermined it with the explanation that it was to free me. Did I come to the county and ask for freedom? I was elected to work and bring benefits to the people of Bong County. And that is what my priority was.
Honorable former Vice President, my name is Jacob. I report for DN News Liberia. And the concern is that of all the different, prospects you are highlighting, people will say, why now? The former Vice President is now curious of listing some of those key achievements.
And I think that too is not the correct story because you guys know me, I've always been on the media. Whenever there was an issue, I would come to the media, we discuss it, I would expose plans and programs. When the projects were finished, we would talk about it. So my voice on the soul of the Bong County people has not been silent. And I knew very well that if I had not done that then, today it would be difficult for me to talk about it. Let's talk about this one particular project that was so important to me, the Binikwale Clinic.
Okay.
The Binikwale Clinic is in Honorable Moy's home. As senator, in 2014, when I campaigned to get my seat back, the people of Binikwale asked me to please ensure that that clinic would have been done.
Okay.
We built the clinic. I took the press there. We had doctors' quarters, nurses' quarters, everything built. What was left was financing. In the Unity Party government, you had to put our financing under the Ministry of Health in order for Ministry of Health to take control of that facility. For as long as I remained senator until I became vice president, that project remained as it was. When I became vice president, what did I do? That was project number one. So that I would not have let the people of Binikwale down. What I did was to find money in the budget, discuss it with the Ministry of Health. When they did an assessment, they realized that it was a health facility and not a clinic. They joined us, we furnished it, we equipped it, and we put people on the payroll there. So you wouldn't have had a situation where people say we're working and we're not getting paid. So that's just an example of some of the things I did going beyond just the call of duty. I don't come from that area, but I know the Benin College people and I have a very close relationship. I wanted to ensure that the one thing they asked me for would have been done. And so these are some of the instances we're talking about. If we had gone beyond party politics, when the ruling United Party was in power, that would have been important for Senator Moy, because I talked to him about it. Let's make sure the clinic will be okay, we'll get it done. It was never done until I became vice president.
What basically about this particular Banga Model School, in recent time when there was, a dedicatory ceremony, there were some stories around this model school that, quote unquote.
Well, you saw the Ministry of Education breaking ground for that project. Now it's all in the media. Whatever I've said is proven in the media.
Okay.
And there's a group in Monrovia that is doing something very important. It's called Fact Check. And what they're doing now is whenever politicians make a statement, they go and check the records. And I like it because if somebody has said something that is wrong, they will say no. The particular thing is a lie. If someone has said something that is right, they will check it. The groundbreaking and the building of that facility was done before the end of 2023, so it was already completed. When we had a discussion at the cabinet level as to where the schools would be, I had to campaign for Bong County because there are 15 counties. And I said Bong County is one of the 5 big counties. You can't carry that kind of school to a small county. And we knew how Ophir was already overwhelmed. I had to go campaign with the Minister of Education, the Deputy Minister. I gave them so much hard time. Minister Stoney said, your people are school in the home of county. I said, well, it will be good for Bong County. Again, it's not about Joe Taylor. When you get elected, you must use the influence you have to bring benefits for your people. I want to thank all the lawmakers who've been moving around, doing the small things they're doing under their projects, showing face that I've done this, I've done that. Those are simple things. What the county is looking for, major investment that changed the lives of people. That's the major investment. The Banga to Batara Junction, that was done during our tenure. The major school that you say that we're talking about today that is open. The Bong County Technical College that provides an opportunity. And during the United Party, we didn't get all the support that we needed. It took President Weah to get into power and say, okay, let's empower Bong Technical College to make sure it is one of the best. Money was put there, the building was completed, the new programs were brought on board. When you do something, it's about how you affect the lives of millions of others, not just a small group or an individual. So I want to take this conversation from Senator Moy to our conversation. It's about Bong County. And maybe when they press meet him in the next round, you can ask him, Senator, where are the new projects that the United Party has brought on board? We now are overwhelmed with the whole issue with drugs. No here, no there, no middle. Nobody talking. Everybody just sitting quietly. When they said that we were doing drugs and bringing drugs in the country after our kush, we said, oh, President, we are bringing kush. There was a conversation that went across the whole country. So because you're bringing kush, we're not allowing. What did we do? You see, when there's a problem, even in your home, the reason why they will say your father is a good father is because you do something to solve the problem. President, we had a cabinet meeting, we decided we'll begin to build rehab facilities for the young people to go to. The only requirement was people will go there themselves. We're not going to go arrest people, or what they and force them there. I visited 2 of those centers during the campaign. Right in Kakata, almost 300 young people were there. The fact of the matter is we started to deal with the issue of voluntarily getting people into the center and dealing with them. Today, where are those centers? If you talk about, I'm still looking, and maybe the press can actually do an assessment which will be good for the county. What were those major things that were done in the Weah Taylor-led government? What has been done now? We are year number 3, and we're still hearing all the dedicating old projects are already done that we might not have had the time to dedicate. The president said, let's go and run our campaign on when we dedicate the project. I think it was a wrong strategy. We should have gone and dedicated those projects so everybody will see. But everybody knows, like you said, do your fact check and find out what was provided.
There are issues around Bong County Technical College. In recent time, there was an administrative decision coupled with the board as well, in naming some of those key colleges after the elevation of the institution to university. And there has been also other concerns that you play a major role in the establishment of that college under your administration. Now that your personality was not attached to the different colleges, do you owe any regret?
No, I don't. If I had the opportunity to do it again, I would do it. Why? The issue of university for Bong County came from my discussions in Swakopmund. Sitting down with the young people, their complaint was, even though Madam Swakopmund gave us this land, what are we benefiting as Swakopmund youth? What do we benefit from cutting? It's too expensive. Most of the time, people will graduate from high school and go to Monrovia. You go visit some of the places the young men slept. You have one room, 10 people will be sleeping in that one room. Some people will sleep in the day, some people sleep in the night. I visited those areas and I saw what they were talking about. And my promise to them was if I got elected as senator, I will ensure that a university equivalent to the University of Liberia will be brought here. That is a legacy project for me. And nobody can change the story. You carry it up, you bring it down. Everybody knows that this was something that I championed. I wrote the bill. I sponsored it in the House, the Senate. It came from the Senate. And everything was done properly. So today, if my name isn't on it, it doesn't beg the fact that Joe Howard Taylor's name is attached. And I'm not one of those people who will go and make noise about it. Maybe one day in the future something will be done. But for me, I know that the history and the legacy can never be spoken about the Bong County Technical College without the name of Joe Howard Taylor. And for me, that's all that is important. That I kept my promise to not only the people of Swakopmund, but to the people of Bong County. Today, students from everywhere can go.
So the name Madam Joa Howard Taylor remain a household name across the country. Where do we stand? I mean, the National Patriotic Party, we're in 2026. 3 years from now, 2.5 years from now, we'll be going to 2029. Do we see Madam Taylor on or merging with any political party?
Our conversation now in the MPP is how do we come together? Again, you are already aware of the crisis that ensued in the party for many years. I'm happy to say that we have now gone over that hurdle. We are praying that we'll hold our conventions in December of this year. The county convention, we have to go across the country and elect your county leadership before you come to the national. We are now working on it. In a few weeks, we'll be dedicating the new National Patriotic Party headquarters. We're very pressed. We're starting a new process so that our people are not left outside and shifting around. The National Patriotic Party since 1997 has been a major force of political activities, not just in Bong. This is our home, everything started here, but across the country. And we intend to get ourselves together and see what our opportunities will be in the future. But for now, my responsibility is to make sure that we have our party headquarters across the country, we mobilize our people to come back together, and then begin our work.
This quick question, Madam former Vice President. Were you in bondage under the CDC administration? Because Senator Moore said you was in bondage to free you. Were you in bondage?
That is not true. I was not in bondage. If I was in bondage, the projects and the interventions that the WIA-led government did in Bong County would have never come to pass. And when you're in a leadership position, it's not about you, and that's the point I want to make. I might have had some challenges, but everybody has challenges regardless of where you work. But in the end, was Bong County marginalized? I said no. Bong County was not marginalized. Because if it was, President Weah would have gone to the southeast. Oh, President Weah comes from the southeast. And look how many the votes are coming from the southeast, regardless of the fact that he kept saying in his second round he would go home and take care of his own people. He said, let the people who join us first get the benefits. Bong County is one of those key places. So I was not in bondage. Challenges ensued, but the fact of the matter that the challenges that ensued stopped Bong County from getting its lawful benefits? No, it did not.
Before we take leave of you, former Vice President, do you have anything to say that you want to let the public know that we asked you for?
And I just want to, again, say thank you to the people of Bong County. The fact of the matter is, with the amount of bombardment that we got in Bong County during the 2023 elections, Bong County still voted for the CDC. Because in the end, when you look at the numbers that we got here, we actually won. We didn't win enough to put us back into power. But I believe when the people of Bong County sit, near their radio, sit in their homes, and discussing the issues, they got many more benefits during the We Are Taylor-led time than they are having now. And we are talking about benefits that change the lives of people. For example, I could sit here today and divide 1,000 burger rest. Maybe each one will get one burger rest, like 2 weeks food. How does that affect the lives of a family? But if every family is able to pay $75 and send their child to Bong Technical College, when they graduate, it's a whole transformation of a whole generation. Because every generation that gets educated and is empowered, that takes you to the next level. So education is important. The road networks are important. Electricity is important. Schools are important. Those are the things that we worked on in our government to ensure that Bong County was not left behind. And so I want to say thank you to the people of Bong County for remaining engaged with the coalition. In 2029, there will be one significant thing that will happen. President, we are served for 6 years. President Boyka would have served for 6 years. I believe what Bong County will be looking at, number one, what were the tangible benefits that we got during the Weir tenure as opposed to what we got during the Boyka tenure? That will be the first thing. Put a sheet down, write everything. Let's see where we are. The second thing is, Bong County will have another opportunity to take part in the elections in 2029. Will we again allow people to come and give us stories and take our hands from in front of ourselves and put it in front of Nimba and Lofa? Or maybe Lofa and somewhere in the southeast? I don't know. But the county will have to take that decision. What would be in the best interest? Not a 2-hour Taylor. Because like I said before, I'm just one individual. What would be in the best interest of raising Bong County from where we left it to a new level? And I think that will be the discussions as we go into 2029. And I'll be a part of that conversation in a meaningful way. Because I think we'll have to come back and remind people about the things that were done as opposed to the record. So we are going on the record in 2029. The record will be what the George Weah do for Bong County. What did President Boyka do for Bong County. And this is where we'll be.
Thank you.
Thank you.